want to say, okay, Baba Fela was appreciated, was recognized, and given a Lifetime Achievement Award, recognizing his work embodies greatness, which we have emphasized so many times. But it is sad that Grammy has to actually do this before people would actually realize that Fela is that great. Why do we need foreign bodies to foreign institutions to recognize our legends before we agree that they are legends? There is no way a foreigner will know what you do like what you do. Just because a foreigner recognizes that this person is good does not even make him the best. Amongst ourselves is where the recognition must come from because it is from the heart. This is art. The people with the biggest connection to Fela is still Nigerians. And we need to understand the greatness of this man passes just become being a musician. He was a philosopher, a philanthropist, a prophet, an human rights activist that stood up for the people, a man that used his heart to educate the public. This is great. In fact, the Nigerian government is supposed to give Fela a national honor, a symbol of excellence, which is rare on the African scene. A person that has been able to, to bring together his work of art to the highest level possible, describing our culture and reality in vivid way, clearer than HD. Ability to communicate was impeccable. This man was the highest branch of any tree we have seen in the country. The Nigerian government must find a way. I'll say the Nigerian Orientation Agency must be able to emphasize on the greatness of Fela. It must be escalated for the new generations to understand what it means to be a legend. It is far more than being myopic, being mono. Because a friend of mine will say, well, "What is life is what is what's doing at all is what doing well." That man did it so well. So I would say that I think the start of this Grammy obsession started with Nice when he wrote when he sung this "Don't Doubt Me, I go bring home Grammy." You know how great Nice was in the music world. He was able to communicate so many and discuss on so many issues on his music. But the hindrance back then was even I don't think Grammy was able to understand the depth of Nice music. And still happening now. How can you say that? How can you say that as large as Africa is, we're having just one category? There's Amapiano, there's Afrobeat, there's Fuji, there's so many genres in Africa. Yet we are boxed in into one corner. And that is where our biggest artists seek relevance. It is quite insane. Where is the recognition for that Fuji guy? Where is the recognition for Afrobeat separately? Where is the recognition for indigenous meaningful music that passed messages? Because if you are giving Fela Lifetime Achievement Award, why are you not concentrating on those that are churning out content that are even useful for the generation of the day? Africa must have a category, we must have an award that recognizes the depth of African value. Without that, we will just be on the queue and giving a QBQ. That is the truth. Africa must find a way to have an award to portray the excellence of African art across board. Africa is known for this. We cannot kill behind the others. In fact, we can even have a category of the best Western music. That is what is being done. Imagine a award category in Africa now. We have the list of our major categories: Fuji, reggae, Amapiano, and other songs of other African music. We have all those categories laid out, and we now insert one slot for the best American music or the best Western music, the best Asian music. That, and now imagine them now, would they come and kill and exalt themselves and view themselves on the microscopes that we Africans have created under that category that will house the majority of American or Western artists? Would they even see it as an opportunity for recognition? That is what is happening. Country music, R&B music, soul, rap, all their categories. Everybody in Africa boxed into one category. Bah! Kilo Shele. Kilo De. And yet, that is where our A-list artists, it is that their own recognition that they see, even though those people do not know the diversities of our own art. And until we can magnify those things, the people like Eddie should have those categories. We should have categories that symbolize the genre of African music. It is not circularly Afrobeat. It is more than that. There are so many delicious and sumptuous music brands coming out from Africa that it is not just Afrobeat. Afrobeat is not just the most popular genre. And who will do that if it's not us? Who will do that if it is not us? So we are expecting Grammy now to create Amapiano category, Fuji category for us. That kind of award is what our A-listers artists should run after. They have created an award that encompasses their own culture. Yet, we want to kill there because that is where we see as the peak of civilization. Whereas we are the one that recognize this heart. We are the ones that Fela sang these songs for. Those songs that Fela sang was for the liberation of the African mind. The African mind must be liberated. That was everything Fela wanted. He wanted us to know that these white people are humans. He wanted us to know that the United Nations is not fair enough. He wanted us to know that authority stealing is more grievous and more harmful to the society than armed robbery. It might not be violence, but it has caused so much damage to the African life than any armed robbery in the history of this country will do. Even though the African man will create a mob and kill an armed robber, but leave the one that is stealing the authorities' money. So, Fela sang this song for Africans. The root of this music has in-depth meaning for us. We should appreciate it more. So if it takes them to appreciate it before we now see it as a big deal, then something is wrong with us. Then something is wrong with us. If you have not taken your time to listen to Fela, please do. Not because of yourself, but because of your children. He has spoken on so many topics that no musician in this day can actually lay their fingers on. Davido, Wizkid, Burna Boy, everybody should come and appreciate the African award. Come together and give a voice to a legitimate institution that can choose our leaders for us, that can decide which song represents the African voice. Because if this continues, that means it is the music that is recognized by Grammy that would be recognized as the best voice and music art for Africa. Even if we don't see it that way, that is what is happening. And this is happening because our elite musicians prefer to be recognized by these Western institutions than our own institution. Now, later, it will now be out of our own hands because they will select those they feel is the best, and those will now be on record to be the best of the best, even though to us, we who carry this meaning, who these contents are for, will have would have another choice to this. But history will not remember that. History remembers those that are favored by the majority. And if the majority wants the self-acclaimed Grammy Awards, then there's nothing for us here anymore. We cannot decide which one is our culture and which one should people listen to or not. This is a very critical time in the entertainment industry of Africa. We are about to be colonized by Grammy if we have not been colonized already. Because if a song passes a meaning to the whole African continent and it does not pass a meaning to the Western continent, it means that once Grammy recognizes the one that has meaning to them, that is realized as the best production that was done in Africa for that year, leaving the one that actually impacted us here in the shadows of the one that has been picked. We need to think about it. It is very important. It is very